Hey, how's everybody doing? As promised, this video is made by the request of Quabina. Quabina, thank you for your gift. I really appreciate it, man. This isn't an original full video. Original full videos are reserved for Patreon members only. Right now, I'm just keeping my promise. For people that's new to the channel, welcome, and thank you for checking me out. If you're wondering what I mean by full original video, watch my Land of the Giants video. It will explain the format change. Enjoy. As you all know, for those that's been following me for a while, the rules are still the same. For the newcomers, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy the video. The rules are one or less coincidence, you're good. 2, start paying attention. 3 or more, the universe is trying to get your attention. For this one, you would need a sheet of paper and something to write with. Unless you have good memory like that, then you wouldn't really need it. But writing things on paper prevents you from going back on your answers. Also, something I should have mentioned in all the other coincidence videos, because you have 1 or less today doesn't mean it will stay that way tomorrow. The reality we live in my opinion, is a simulation. But it's infinite simulation that we constantly cross through by the daily choices we make. Shout out to Dolores Cannon. Everyone has their own mini simulation or bubble inside the collective bubble that we mingle with other bubbles affecting the collective bubble. We are all living in a collective simulation that changes reality to exactly what thought has been put into it. Not only are we living in it, we're a part of it. Any individual mini simulation that makes changes to its own simulation changes the collective simulation, and in turn, the collective changes all mini simulations inside of it. If you're wondering why you feel you can't get ahead, it's because billions of other mini simulations unintentionally constantly keeps changing the collective with their thoughts, which is why popularity is important. When a majority agree to an idea created by a small group of people with power, it would become part of the collective as a rule, which is why the elite have to tell us what they're doing before they do it. They need your thought as a collective to create it. This stick is now part of the collective. Before you seen it, it didn't exist. Now that you've seen it, I just changed your simulation. Your mini simulation now has this stick locked into it. You now know it exists. I needed your thought to create it in your simulation. This is how I control your reality. Now that this stick is in your reality, it's part of the collective. I can change the collective, which in turn change all mini simulations within it. I have a thought of this stick being in 2 pieces, so I make the thought into a reality by breaking the stick. I just changed the collective, and the collective changes all mini simulations that's aware of the stick, even if they don't know it's broken. I made a change to the collective. People that haven't seen this video doesn't know the stick even exists because it hasn't been programmed into their simulation by media persuasion. People that know the stick exists but by chance don't know it's broken because they missed it, their simulation will always assume the stick is whole because new information hasn't been programmed into their simulation. But if they ask to see the stick and find it broken, it will instantly change their simulation because a new thought that person came up with on their own changed it. You create your reality, so be careful who you let form your simulation. Your reality is either what you create or what you let someone else create for you. Remember that the next time you watch a Super Bowl halftime ritual. I'm going to ask you a question, but you're going to have about 2 seconds to answer. What's the time on this clock? Sorry, there is no time. But the time you thought of, I need you to add it to a single digit. That would be your number. If you drop something out your pocket, would you go out of your way to catch it before it hits the floor? Most of the time you wouldn't think about it until after it hits the floor unless it was something fragile. But if you drop the glass, your attention would be focused on it. Why would your attention be drawn to the glass and not whatever fell out of your pocket? For obvious reason, you're worried about the broken glass, but the real reason you're focused on it is because it's a potential reality change. This is a coincidence. This happened to me a couple of days ago. I reached in the cabinet and hit a glass by accident. It fell and at that very moment time slowed. It seemed like it was in the air for 8 seconds, but in reality it was about 1. But it only took a fraction of a second for many scenarios to formulate. Did a glass just fall? Yes, it did. Can I catch it? No, I was holding more glasses. Will it hit the counter or the floor? The counter. Only option? Watch it hit and hope for the best. This would be the moment for a potential reality shift. If the glass doesn't break, life goes on seamlessly. If the glass breaks, it's a reality shift. If the glass breaks, I would now have to clean up the glass and it would set me back a few minutes that I would have been doing something else if the glass hadn't broken. I'm now in a simulation where I'm 1 glass short and the constant worry of did I get all the pieces. If someone comes to the house, they will never know about the shorted glass because their simulation is only made up of the thoughts they put into it. That's why when 2 or more people see the same thing, they would describe it differently from each other. We don't share the same simulation, only the collective. This is what we call perspective. By the way, the glass didn't break. I was just using the broken glass theory as an example. Pause this video and look at the time on your device and come back. You have your numbers? Now add those numbers to 2 digits. But if you have a time where the sum is under 10, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and so on, use that number. All realities are predetermined. If you would like to know what's your best move, the universe already has a reality that matches your thoughts and will send you signs through coincidences to guide you to that reality. You just have to pay attention. Look at it this way. You are the universe, and the universe is you. You want something, you as the universe will send signs to yourself because it's the only way to communicate with yourself in the material world. But you as the universe quickly realize how stubborn you are in the material world. Whatever 2-digit number you have, I need you to pause the video, scroll down that number of suggested videos, look at the time on that video, and come back. For some of you, the title on that video was meant for you, but that's not what we're looking for. It's the time. I need you to add those numbers together to a single digit. Does that number match your assigned number? That's a coincidence if it does. Here's something most people don't think about. What if ghosts are glitches in the simulation? Think about it. Why do ghosts have clothes? They get it from a ghost fabric store. If they strip naked, would the clothes still be there when they leave? It would most likely vanish, right? From what I'm hearing of people that seen a ghost, they never seem to leave the location they died at. I even heard stories of people seeing Civil War troops marching, sometimes with horses in claimed haunted areas. Ghost horse, ghost guns. Can these glitches hurt you? I don't know. Can you sometimes feel them? Probably. No two objects can occupy the same space at the same time. If you can feel them, it's probably a demon acting as a ghost. Just a thought. Now this go round, I have my nephew assisting me on this one. Go on over, nephew.
Peace.
Now in this experiment, I'm gonna pull out one. We're gonna randomly pull out one of the cards. And when I stop, you're gonna tell me what's on the next card. I'm gonna pull out one first. My nephew's gonna pull out one. And then I'm gonna pull out another one. And we're just gonna keep going until I stop. And you gotta tell me what's the next card. Left, right, or straight. Right. Right. Left. Straight. There are so many glitches in this simulation, and the Mandela effect proves this, but most people refuse to look into it because it takes away any doubt that secures their perception of reality and may be forced to reevaluate their very existence. Fear. But people rather believe the craziest and most of the time false things because they've seen it on video and not verifying, because they don't trust their own judgment when looking straight at abnormalities in their own memory, trusting others more than they trust themselves. Maybe people see the video as a buffer. I won't look crazy if I have a video to back up my craziness. Pick a symbol that best resonates with you and draw it on paper. I'll give you time. For those that's in a situation where you don't have access to a pen and paper, like being on public transportation or something, just remember the letter that represents that symbol and you can finish later even after the video, as long as you remember everything else. Driving in traffic is the easiest way to spot coincidences. You ever driving down a single lane road, no shoulders, and you see a pothole ahead on your right side? you already start planning to swerve to the left to avoid it. But as soon as you do, that very moment you look ahead and a car coming the opposite direction at relative speed, no matter how fast or slow you're going, seem to time you just right to force you into that pothole. This is where slot filler comes in for me. For people that's new to the channel, slot fillers are people that should have died but lived by contributions of other people to live, for example by organ donation. These pothole scenarios is one of many traffic coincidences that happens to me all the time. Because being a slot filler, people that belong here are never in your way. You're always in their way. Check out my slot filler video to understand what I mean. Now, is it just me? Every time I go out somewhere, it seems like a bunch of people come out just in time to get in front of me. I'm always directly behind the slowest vehicle. Even crazier, when I'm the only one on the road, someone is always on my ass as if I'm going too slow. And I'm a speedster. I'm already breaking the limit. How come these people always behind me when I'm the only one on the road, making me feel like I'm going too slow? Me hitting that pothole is the universe telling me I'm exactly where I belong at this very moment in time. Out of the way. That's because I made plans. Once you make plans, the universe makes plans for you. Which is why sometimes I like to test it. If I take a different route at the last minute, not thinking about it first from where I was originally going, I never have those problems. It wasn't planned. The universe has to recalculate based on my position to avoid me from getting in other people's way. In the meantime, all the lights are green and it's usually less traffic. At this point, I'm controlling the universe. The universe has to recalculate everyone that made plans to ensure I fit in without disruption. That usually comes in when I get to a road the universe knows I have to take to reach my destination and realign all simulations to the moment in time I reach that road. The intersection up ahead, will I make a left, will I make a right, or keep going straight? Write your answer down. This is your reality, and this is all your possible realities. Every choice you make shifts you a move forward according to that choice. You want steak for dinner? You make all the choices you need to get to that simulation. Here's an example of how coincidences look out for you to avoid simulations if you're paying attention. You go buy a used car at a dealership and he gives you 2 weeks to return it for an exchange if you're unhappy. First coincidence, the check engine light blinks on and off once during the test drive. Nobody's seen it but you, but it never happens again. Second coincidence, a few days later you see a small oil spot under the car. You check under the car, you see nothing. You know that spot wasn't there before, but the spot doesn't get any bigger, so you let it go. Third coincidence, 2 days before you can exchange, you find a screw in your tire. Simple fix, but you've been warned. So a day or two after you can exchange the car, it gets totaled in an accident by a hit and run. The coincidence doesn't necessarily mean that the car was a lemon. It means that the car would be responsible for a predetermined misfortunate reality. Now let's say you want to be a millionaire. Now there's a reality with you being a millionaire in it. One, you just thought it up, so the simulation exists because you just created it. Now all you have to do is make small decisions every day that moves your energy closer to that simulation, because that's what our energy does, move from simulation to simulation. Keep in mind other people affects the collective, so your decision may have to be adjusted from time to time to reach your desired simulation. Reality is what we create inside the very simulation that we're a part of, meaning we are the simulation, being projected by our true selves from outside the realms of the false realities that we created. And if you think you can achieve your goals going by this chart, you have to look at it this way. Not only you have simulations going this direction, you have these and move between them. Basically, each one of these are this. Each reality has many realities of all decisions you can make while in that simulation attached to it. Once a decision is made, it becomes part of the collective. Okay, here's another one for you. As you can see, the coin has 3 options: to go straight, veer off to the left, or veer off to the right. First thought, what reality will we approach? Coin going to the left, going to the right, or straight? Write it down, but before you do, as you know if you've been following me for a while, the rule is it's got to be your first thought. You can't think about it. The reason I'm saying this is because some of you right now thinking your answers as we're watching this, and I'm sure there's some that changed their answers. This is what humans do. So before you write your answer down, I left out one small piece of information that might make you change your decision, which you are allowed to do because you have new information to take into consideration and eliminate the thinkers at the same time. Once I present this information, you will have very little time to think. Left, right, straight. Write your answer down. Okay, let's check our results. Did the combined numbers on the time of the suggested video you picked match your assigned number? If so, that's 1. Was there a message in the title of that video related to what's bothering you? That one would not be counted as a coincidence because of the algorithm. This one is basically for a specific individual that's looking for answers, and I hope you find your answer. One I purposely didn't mention, the 2-digit number that you used to find your suggested video. Do those numbers combined match your assigned number? If so, that would be 2. Okay, now the third, and this one is a biggie. On your list of left, right, or straight, use your pen, and if your first pick, for example, was left, you draw a short line to the left, like this. You always start where your pen last stopped. If your next word is right, you go back right on the same line, same distance. But if you were to go left again instead of right, you put a bar here to let you know how many times you made a repeated move. For straight, draw a line straight up. Same distance as the rest. Think you got it? Draw your symbol. Does the symbol match the one you picked? If it does, first of all, that's creepy because there's like 3 coincidences in one, but it still counts as 1, but a strong one. I would even consider it to be 2. But if this is your 1, how do you feel about that? Are we in a simulation yet? As I stated earlier, the rules are the same. 1 or less, you're exactly where you're supposed to be at this very moment in time. That doesn't mean things won't change tomorrow. 2, it could go either way. You're either being warned or it's a sign that you made the right choice. That depends on the individual to see it as such. 3 or more, the universe, you, is trying to get your attention. Your path needs to change very soon in order to achieve the life you desire. Judging by most comments and especially from newcomers, the thought of getting all 3 means bad news. That's not the case. The universe gives you signs to change your path or you'll be subjected to other people's reality. The sign could be either telling you to get out of a bad situation or showing you a great investment opportunity that has a time limit. Basically, the universe is pretty much saying, make a move or one will be made for you. Thank you for watching and thank you for sharing your time with me. Update. This video took a long time to make, especially during the editing process because of the computer I'm using. It's giving me a lot of problems. But like I said in prior coincidence videos, that these videos get harder and harder to make because a lot of scene has to be taken in one shot. I can't make a mistake. Even if I make a mistake, I probably still have to use that video and try to clean it up somehow, but I have to make it in one shot. But during the editing, also, I'm seeing a lot of scenes I had to redo over the ones that I can redo, so that would make it slow. But the reason I'm giving you this update is because during that process, it took about an extra 2 weeks because I had to redo a lot of things, and a lot of times the situation and things come up. But when I was talking about that glass, the funny thing is, when I finished this video today, Sunday, August 15th, that glass broke on the counter. And now I have just 1. Out of a set of 2, now I just have 1. And I like this glass. But that's crazy. The same glass that dropped that I was talking about on the video, that was probably about 2 weeks ago, it dropped again. That same glass that dropped and didn't break 2 weeks ago, broke today. And it's almost like I predicted this simulation. It's weird because I had to take time out to clean the glass. Everything I said I had to do. I had to take time out to clean up the glass, just like I said in the video. And now I'm 1 glass short. That is so crazy. And I didn't even know the glass was falling out. I was just closing the cabinet door and I just heard a glass bust. And it was on the counter. Exactly the way it happened. I told you, sometimes you just have to laugh. You just have to laugh. I don't know what to say. But you can't tell me we're not in a simulation. For more in-depth videos, join me on Patreon. You will receive full-length videos, early release, and extras not shown on YouTube. Thank you for your support.